Okay, pretty typically, if you purchase the boot for approximately $500, and within a year, year and a half, you resole it once, that's about $100. Another year, year and a half, you resole it again, that's another $100. Then you're going to wear it about another year to year and a half, sometimes 2 years. Then you may be into a rebuild. When you rebuild it, it costs about $200. So over the 7 years, I believe that is, you've spent about $900, and now you've got a rebuilt boot that you're starting all over again. And you can sometimes get 2 rebuilds to 3 rebuilds out of a boot. So generally, it costs about $100 a year to own a handmade boot built to your foot. It just has to be front loaded in the purchase, but it all amortizes out on the back end.
And that's, you know, that's not even taking into consideration what it's like to spend those 10 years in that boot.
Exactly. You get the physical benefit the whole time you're wearing it.
The pleasure of owning it, the comfortable feet, the back pain that you don't have to deal with, all of those things, that's like icing on the cake.
And you can call the manufacturer, send the boot into the manufacturer, and we can adjust it. If you have a hot spot or a problem, we can take care of repairs and send it back to you. You're dealing with the manufacturer.
So over the course of 7 years, you can spend $900 or you can spend $1,400
on a mass-produced style of boot.
So while we were visiting and getting the tour, I didn't realize how many boots that you guys really rebuild. That's a big, important part of the business. Is people send their boots from all over the country to rebuild, and you guys don't just rebuild your own boots, but you'll build other quality boots as well, correct?
Yeah. Other manufacturers we will rebuild.
And so I'm looking forward to showing the before. Here's the before. Here's my boots. I had these custom built for me in 2000. I've had them rebuilt, I think, twice, and you guys are going to rebuild these. What's amazing is if you look at these, most guys would think those are done in the trash, but can you show me what they look like when they come out the other side after the rebuild?
Sure. What we'll do is we'll start by taking them apart. The only thing we reuse is the upper portion. That's the part that wraps around your leg. In most cases, this is still in good shape, so it can be. We can add the pieces and parts that go below to the existing upper. We'll go from here, and when the boot is done, it'll look like this.
This is a rebuilt boot.
This is a rebuilt boot. That's an actual customer's boot, rebuilt.
This probably looked like mine or worse.
Exactly.
That's amazing. How many boot rebuilds can you get out of a boot?
You know, it depends on the customer. It depends on the workload that the customer puts them through. Average is 2 to 3 resoles. Then you go and do a rebuild. Then you can do 2 to 3 rebuilds, and then you can go back to a resole. So
what's the difference between a resole and a rebuild?
Okay, resole is when we just take the rubber sole off and heel, and put a new rubber sole and heel on.
And that's just from wear and tear?
That's just from wear and tear. It's like changing tires on your car.
New set of tires.
Yep, new set of tires. And then a rebuild is actually taking it completely apart and putting it back together.
What's the cost of a rebuild versus a retread?
Right now, a rebuild is about $100, and a resole is about $100, and a rebuild is $195.
Okay.
Generally, a rebuild runs about 50 to 55% of the price of a new boot.
55. Wow.
And price is subject to change.
Mm-hmm. Always subject to change.
So everything you see here, these are all boots that have come in from customers that you guys will be either resoling or rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from the process, I mean, for $200 to rebuild a boot, that seems like such a fair deal.
It is. It's a service of the boot.
You guys must be basically doing that at cost, because there's a lot of work. I mean, you're basically rebuilding the boot to a new boot.
There's a lot of labor, there's a lot of material, there's a lot of time that's involved.
That's interesting.
This is hard. I don't know what to get.
So you're having a hard time picking your boots.
Yeah, I mean...
Picking the leather.
Let's start with the leather.
So my initial reaction was, I'm going to buy green. I want green.
Yeah.
Because I love green.
Too trendy.
But I've been trending that way for what, 30 years?
You can hide in the forest.
Well, and I wear everything's green.
Well, then we've got a couple of choices.
But I probably shouldn't do green, right?
Every day you get to pick the hide for your shoes, is it?
Not every day, exactly. I've got a few greens. Let me see.
Oh, yeah. Do you think, would green be too trendy?
Not really. Not at all. You're getting hinted on to do brown.
I probably would wear them more if they were brown.
20 years later, you'll be wearing them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a long-lived boot. Even if foot changes and everything else, we have to rebuild it and all that stuff, it's still going to be a long-lived boot.
I'm going to do brown then.
Okay. So
Brown or black? What do you think, brown or black?
I think English saddle leather.
I mean,
Or bridle leather.
Ooh, which one's the English bridle leather?
well, English tan. We've got an English tan. That's a Rapids. I don't like
Like that, I think is gorgeous,
This
but
is
how's
a
that going to
burnt
land?
brown Rapids.
How's that?
This?
Yeah. Does that?
This is my Rapids Wheat Horween.
How will that age?
This.
We might have a one-of-a-kind shoe by the time we get done here.
We are going to have a one-of-a-kind shoe.
So you're gonna go with green.
The Jessica.
I want green leather.
A redhead going with green. That's a huge surprise.
It's hot.
You want it with green?
I think it's awesome.
I like green.
It's a bit of the Irish.
One of the green.
Or the Scottish or one or the other.
That's right.
Irish.
You get the green and go in the Irish, yeah. That's right. You kiss the Blarney Stone, you're a blooming motorhead. You know.
That's a very good accent.
Well, I'll tell you, we'll ride the horse over and visit them, too. Jake, never tell him the other side of the story. I'll lace you. I'll lace you.
Oh, okay. Now, how tall are these?
These are 8s. I have nothing in 6s, but I have 8s and 10s. I can put this 8, and this is what we're going to determine your fit with.
Okay.
And then we're going to put a 10 on after we just get your sizing, just to see how it feels on your leg, because it's going to come to right here.
Okay.
Now that is a good cut for you. Looks nice. Is that the boot, or are you just doing size?
This is, I'm just fitting right now.
Okay.
We've talked about a 10-inch top. This is an 8, and I told her my wife and I both like 6s and 10s, but the 8 is nice on the leg. But we have still some fitting things to go through yet, so.
Thank you for all your time.
Of course. Well, you haven't got my bill. And you can't play the drums unless you've got your rings on.
So one thing that I never really put a lot of consideration to is lacing. Something that can happen with a lot of different boots when you're fitting them, especially the skinnier guys, is to get that bite across, what do you call that, the instep?
Mm-hmm. The instep.
Off the instep. You guys have developed a way to lace these that kind of spreads, gives you a little more surface area that can really alleviate that.
Yep.
What do you call it, and kind of how do you do it?
Well, it's called the 213 lacing. And what you do, rather than going to the first hook, you would actually go up to the second hook, bring the lace back down, catch the first one on the opposite side.
How do you? So you go here.
Start the second hook, then come back down to the first one, and then go up to the third.
You're just basically making a web and spreading that out. That's a pretty clever fix. So something that I was noticing is this happened a lot. I saw them on the Fireground last year. Was a lot of the boots with the rough side out versus the traditional with the smooth side, and I thought that was just personal preference. But you're saying that it wears better.
It does wear better. It's a little more durable. So if you're out there in the woods or in any work environment and something rubs against it, it's harder to cut it rather than the smooth side.
Can you show me what you're talking about there?
So if you take this, is a very sharp knife.
So we've got, this is the cutting table, so we've got a hide laid out here.
If you take the knife and you put light amount of pressure on it and do that, basically there's no cut. It's gone away. But if you take it to the smooth side and you put the same amount of pressure, there is actually a tear.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
So once that tears, you've cut the fibers. And once the fibers cut, then they dry out and they start to crack.
So if you don't have a boot that you need to polish, or you don't mind the way it looks, rough service boot, wildland fire boot, this is way more durable.
Way more durable. And you can polish that boot if you clean it off with a good saddle soap or dish soap and water, let it dry, and then take a Lincoln black shoe polish and rub it on. You can get that boot to shine.
Get a shine. That is interesting.
But it's just more durable. It makes the boots last longer.
Because they're so much cooler in the summertime.
Yeah, definitely.
And you said the brown are cooler?
Yeah, about 10 degrees, 10, 15.
Black is hard to beat, though.
Everything you own is black. Mix it up.
I don't like that. I don't like change. I'll stick with the black. I like black with a rough side out.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah. And then the full Vibram lug tread here.
Yeah.
Are you using them for fire at all? Or?
Yeah.
So you want the fire resistant?
Yep.
Sole then?
Yeah.
That'd be that middle guy right there.
This one here, with the red on the bottom, right?
Sure.
So we've got important decisions to make here. We've got to decide on color, right? Our two colors are brown or black, right? Or three colors. These three here? We don't want navy.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, so we're going to go with black. We're going to go with a rough out because it's much tougher and just kind of classic design. So this is the Hotshot Boot.
Yes.
And it's got a little thicker sole and
It's a core inch thicker through the sole.
Core
Inch of leather.
and no stitching on the bottom.
It's just too thick to stitch through.
Too thick.
And it's got screws instead.
Screws and glue.
And the thread is fireproof.
Fireproof. Fire resistant boot. So the extra leather is, you were saying, just to give just a little bit extra protection from the heat.
Right. More between you and the ground.
The first fire I was on, I had a pair of West Coast. I had steel shank in them, and they got so hot that I have to stand in buckets of water because you're walking around on the coals and stuff that you couldn't cool them down. They just fry you. So
That's another reason they're all leather. So.
no steel in them. I woke up to several emails this morning reminding me of my promise to do a boot break-in video if we reach 5,000 views on the 4th part of the Nick's Factory tour. So I sat down with my cup of coffee to start making the video this morning, and to my horror I realized I had no audio on the break-in portion. But there is a flip side, there is a good side or a positive side to this. After going through the footage, I had a lot of stuff that I just really didn't have room for in the video tour series. A lot of fun stuff. So I put this video together using all of the bonus footage, and it's my favorite. So I hope you enjoyed that. Kind of gave you a little bit of insight to some of the personalities and what it was like. And our thanks go out to the Nick's crew. We still enjoying that experience that we had, and can't wait for the boots. I do have the knowledge that I learned from breaking in boots. I will have 2 pair of Nick's boots coming as soon as they get done with the build process. I will share with you in detail how to break them in. It's something that I've never done before, and I'm looking forward to using it. But if you're going to learn how to break in boots, how better to follow the guidelines than the company that makes them. Also, if you don't know already, we are now participating on Instagram. So we have set up a page and we'll be sharing a lot of stuff. We can share short 15-second videos, I think it is. Pictures, you'll get insights, things that are coming up. It's something that I think I will use because it's just so simple. So Mr. Wranglerstar Instagram, and I'll put a link in the subject heading for that, or you can go to my channel page, and in the banner with the crossed axes on the bottom right, you can follow us on our Facebook page, you can follow us on our Instagram, you can follow us on Tumblr, all of those things. So it's just a way to get a little inside information and a heads up on things that are coming up on the channel. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.